A warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Ann Metcalf, and I am talking today about folate and magnesium. Um, I don't know about you, but sometimes these vitamins that we are recommended to take, what are they? Where do they come from? I listen to podcasts. I go, oh, that researcher says this. That researcher says that. So it's confusing. So let's just have a little chat and just, I don't know, have you been noticing lately, and maybe you felt it too, whenever we try and improve our health, whether that's better sleep or stronger immune function or just feeling like ourselves again, we run into a wall of mixed messages. One expert says you need more magnesium, and the other says supplements are a waste and everything should come from food. Then there's this whole folic acid versus folate conversion or conversation, and depending on who's talking, it can sound urgent or alarming or just plain confusing. So tonight it's not about fear or choosing sides. It's about understanding our bodies and the vitamins with a little more clarity. The real question I want to explore is this: do we need supplements? And if so, how do we make a confident choice that actually supports our health? Let's dive into two of the biggest nutrients on that list, magnesium and folate, and find the sweet spot between the overwhelm and empowerment. So you've got magnesium and folate. And so we want to make good choices, and we want to support our energy, and we want to feel our best. And so, can we take a grounded look? Can we be neutral in our perspective and what we look at, what we see, and even what we're learning here today? Um, So let's just have a little, just a comparison of some of them. So we've got magnesium, and it's like the quiet electrician inside our bodies. It helps our muscles relax, recover, supports nerve function and stress response, promotes better sleep, and plays a key role in energy metabolism and bone strength. We can get magnesium from whole foods such as nuts, seeds, leafy greens, lentils, beans, and there's a whole list of beans, quinoa, avocado, and dark chocolate. But the truth is, our soils aren't as mineral rich as they once were, and many people don't get enough from food alone. Hmm, that's where supplements help. If someone chooses to supplement, a well absorbed form like magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate is ideal. And it's important to check how much elemental magnesium the label actually provides. Higher doses may cause digestive upset, and those with kidney concerns should always check with the doctor. Magnesium works best with consistency, especially in the evening when calm and sleep are the goal. And there's different kinds of magnesium, and some people take the different kinds for the different effects that they have on the body. And then there's folate, the natural B9 vitamin found in leafy greens, beets, and legumes, which is essential for cell repair, DNA formation, and especially for the earliest development of a baby's brain and spinal cord. Folic acid, on the other hand, is the synthetic version we see in supplements and fortified foods. It has played a huge role in reducing neural tube, neural tube defects in early pregnancy. And that's a side of the story most of us have heard, but there's another side as well. And not everyone converts folic acid efficiently, and some people too much. Unmetabolized folic acid can cause problems rather than prevent them. And certain autistic children appear to have folate receptor or metabolism differences, and parents often report improvements in mood, digestion, sleep, and communication when synthetic folic acid is removed. And natural folate from food is increased. This doesn't apply to every child, but it matters for those who feel the difference. And so, one of the things with the not enough folate, and it happens up until 4 weeks of pregnancy. And if you haven't got enough folate, then you end up with the spinal cord not forming properly. You get spina bifida, and then you get another neurologic issue with the brain. And so that's why part of the reason why they put folic acid into supplements. But then there's another issue relating to that. So, how do we balance these two truths? The mainstream research shows folic acid fortification has helped prevent serious birth defects. At the same time, emerging voices remind us that form, dose, timing, and individuality matter. Folate and vitamin B12 also rely on each other. If B12 is low, high folic acid intake can mask the warning signs while neurological problems continue beneath the surface. And that's why checking both the folate and B12 levels with a simple blood test can be helpful, especially for older adults, vegans, and those with gut or absorption challenges. The results are useful, but not perfect. Normal folate blood levels don't always reflect whether the body is actually using the nutrients well, yet they offer valuable insights. A common but fair question is if neural tube defects only develop in the first month of pregnancy, why is folic acid also in baby formula and so many processed foods? The short answer is regulation, stability, and public health safety nets. Synthetic folic acid handles manufacturing and storage better than natural forms, and adding it widely ensures people don't fall short. But this blanket approach doesn't consider who is already getting enough or who metabolizes folic acid differently. It raises thoughtful questions about optimal dosing for different ages and stages of life. So, where does that leave us? Here's the sweet spot I'm trying to lean into food first. Colorful, whole, earth grown foods that deliver nutrients in their most natural, synergistic form. Supplements as tools, not too much, not too little, chosen with attention to form and individual needs. Curiosity instead of fear, balance instead of guessing. When we nourish ourselves with wisdom rather than overwhelm, the body does what it was designed to: repair, restore, and thrive. Now, a note about where the research comes from. Well, a lot of the research has come from studying rats. Now, rats are different from humans. They metabolize folic acid differently than we do. Many animal studies use megadoses that don't reflect the human exposure. The timing of fetal development is completely different in a rat. Rodent folate receptors are not identical to ours. So, how do we look at that research based on rat populations when that is so different from the human? Interesting early science, but rat metabolism doesn't translate straight to humans. We can learn from animal models, but we must not overinterpret them. And I'd also like to add another piece, and that's muscle testing. Asking your body what it needs each day. Your body supports you always, and it has answers when you choose to ask. Energy flows within us and within our food, the soil, and yes, you can do this with vitamin supplements. And you can find out more on my app, and I'm just going to show you something that I've used in the past. And I show it on my app, Authentic Sacred Design. So here we have an example of a pendulum. Mine is just a ring and something else. You can use crystals on a string, a ring on a string. And you ask your yes and no. And so you ask, and my hand is I start with a little swing. And so I say, show me yes. And then it changes. And I often say, let go, let God, so that my divine presence and the energy that all that I am is giving me the answer, not my head. Oh, this is silly. This won't work. And then I ask, show me no. And you just wait. And this is where patience is key. And you know what? Do it every day. If this is your yes, and the other is your no, it could be circles. It could be a different direction. And just be willing to listen and say, you know, is this substance in my highest and best health to have today? Well, apparently this Kleenex with ink on it is not. So I invite you to just go and check. Um, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever checked the type of magnesium or folate in your supplements? Have you noticed changes in energy or sleep when you shift towards whole food nutrients? We learn so much when we share our experiences. So feel free to drop yours in the comment box. And so thank you for listening. Uh, let's just explore further together. What have you learned about these magnesium and the glycinate and and the folate and the folic acid? For me, I'm inclined to look for folic acid on the package and perhaps put it back. That's where I'm standing. You might just say, "Huh, I don't care." So I invite you to be in your own sweet spot. And thank you for joining me. And until we meet again, thank you and have a great day. Blessings.